Hi everybody, so I'm here with Alex Holmes
Hi.
and we are going to be talking about the video Two Worlds, the music video that Alex and I made together
Yes.
in support of mental health awareness. Now, I met Alex through Norwich City College. I was helping them with the Mental Health Awareness Week, and I did some sound workshops and some meditation workshops. And then I thought to myself, you know what? There's got to be some really brainy people at college that would be able to help me to do a music video and promote this a bit more. So I put an advert out, and Alex came rushing to answer the advert. And so we're just here to talk about what we did. So Alex, I sent you in response to your email. I sent you a copy of Two Worlds. It wasn't called Two Worlds then, was it?
No,
It's called something
it
else.
was called Boston Lights.
That's
And
right.
I
Yeah.
I was listening to it and I was like, this doesn't sound like Boston Lights. I've been to Boston. That don't sound like Boston. But it was good. It was good and I don't know. It was very dreamy. I loved it. And I guess everything kind of came after that and I wrote to you and I was like, hey, I don't want to change your idea too much, but I had an idea for a guy who just walks around doing a dance. And initially, it was like kind of like a uh, kind of like a weird avant-garde. Like it was like David Byrne sort of thing, where like he was gonna do like this like kind of like very stiff movement and kind of like jiggle around. But then you gave me some really good notes, and we kind of changed it to make it more like natural and flowing and more peaceful, which obviously fit with the tone better. And yeah, no, it
It
was
kind
really
of grew,
interesting.
didn't it? It kind of grew from something. I mean, you sent me this fantastic sort of script, and with these really great scenes. And when you sent me that, I realised that what this track was going to be about. It kind of really triggered me because I thought, yeah, I got the kind of waving and the dancing sort of thing and the dreaminess of it,
Yeah.
which I thought was great. And as you say, I kind of gave some notes. How about this? How about that? How about this?
Mm.
And so much so, I changed it from Boston Lights to Two Worlds because
Mm.
I thought this is completely a journey from one world to another, for
Yeah.
me anyway.
No,
But you
definitely.
start you started this off with a kind of black and white imagery. Why did you start with that?
It was really well. It was strange because I want to go for more of like a washed out color look, and I tried it, and it didn't contrast enough. I even talked to you like on set. I was like, oh, I'll make it look like French Connection because I saw that film and I was like, oh, the colors are slightly washed out and kind of got a combination of color and black and white. And I was like, oh, that'll be better because I like to do a lot of black and white stuff and I want to differentiate away from it. So I was like, okay, well, this time I'm going to try and not do black and white constantly. But then in the end, my inner film demons were like, no, make it black and white. It's important to have the opening as black and white. And I was like, okay. So I gave it like this very strong, contrasty, punchy black and white look. So Premiere gives you a lot of freedom when it comes to making the blacks more uh, um, punchy. I'm just going to keep on using the word punchy, and the words more contrasting as well. And I thought having kind of like that weird, almost like creepiness to it, um, with like the opening, just to like show how like somber this is, and then to like have that huge contrast when it like bursts into color. People are like, oh wow, like oh there's color there. And even though it's a music video by a amateur film student, like you can see that that there is some form of creativity there, with
I,
like the contrast.
I definitely don't think anyone would look at that video and say that was done by an amateur because I think it was really, really professional. And
Okay.
the feedback we're getting, on the YouTube video, the comments is, wow, how powerful, how emotive, this kind of changes. It was really sort of
Yeah,
hitting people. And I think that's fantastic.
I was like, well, I was kind of like blown away by those comments because I was like, I feel like that's more of a detriment to the music because when I was listening to, when I first listened to that track, I literally, I said to you, I was like, I could not not that I was bored, but I was like, I could fall asleep to this. Like, I got so relaxed that I was just like sitting there. I was literally nodding off because like of how nice it was. And yeah, I was like, well, how do I reflect that? And I just didn't know how to do it initially. Because I had a ton of ideas first off, and then they all just didn't work. I just didn't bother sharing them with you because I was like, this is just embarrassing if I shared them. But maybe I could tell them now. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want. You know, I mean, it's like I say, I certainly think that the development of the music video was a journey. It certainly was for me because, you know, even though you wrote this script and I made some notes on it, we never stuck to it, did we? We kind of did an idea, and then when we got on location, we just went, yeah, we'll change that.
Yeah, well, that happens a lot, especially when you're shooting, you know, when you're shooting on the street. Like, I mean, I've done stuff before where you just shoot on the street. It's just so much creativity, and you see people around, and you see things, and you know, buildings, and it's just like, you know, Norwich in general to me is like a playground, and because like, I've explored enough of it so far, but like I could keep on exploring it because like there's so much there. So yeah, the majority of my stuff that I've made so far, I did a whole PSA in college. They were like, we want you to work for a client, and in my head, you know, being Mr. Artsy, I was like, I'm not gonna work for a client. They're gonna burn my artistic vision. So I was like really against it because I'm like that sort of art kid. And I found the Benjamin Foundation, who was super wonderful, and they were like, yeah, make whatever you want, but just like remember to like say like, oh, who this is for. And I was like, okay, fantastic. So I made this whole piece, and in short, basically, the majority of the shots at the beginning of that were just like shot at like the height of lockdown. So I wasn't technically allowed out, but I shot it before they told me, because I'm like that. So all of the shots in that opening of that short piece are like, it was like dead silent. But that's what I mean by like, you know, you have the creativity to like, you know, utilize the streets or like utilize the energy of the world around you.
And that like, video, the Benjamin Foundation video, is on your YouTube channel, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Alex has got a YouTube channel with several videos on it. Go and check it out, and you can see his style, because I think it really talks about his style. You know, and as he says, it talks about black and white, and he's, you know, changing, and it's a journey. And I think as artists, I think that's what we tend to do. We start off with something. Oh, well, I've made that. Yeah. And then we say, well, what can I do different next time? How can I improve it? How can I build on it? And it kind of layers up, doesn't it?
Oh, it's so important. It's so important. I mean, I could tell when I was listening to your tracks, I was like, you know, even though there's it's kind of like what I do, even though there's an underlining theme, you find ways to change it up every time. You'll change up an instrument, or you'll change up the tempo of a sound, or just little things, and that's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And of course, it appeals to different ears, and it's like your visual stuff will appeal to different, you know, viewers. Some people, you know, a guy that I was in the studio with said to me one day, he said, do you like Michael Jackson's music? And I said, well, it's okay. Said, well, some people love it. He says, and some people hate it. Yeah. He said, it'll be the same with your music. He said, you'll put a piece out. He said, some people will absolutely love it, and other people will go, oh my God, I can't listen to that. And you know, it's just the exposure that we have. It's the risk we, as an artist, we put out of our expressionism. I think sometimes that people look at it. But you know, we actually had a pretty good shoot, didn't we? It was, you know, it was one day. We kind of did it from start to finish. We've got Tim, who was the suit.
Tim was terrific.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
I called him up and I was like, because Tim's not an actor at all, and he was like, I've known Tim for a while. I've known Tim since, it's going to sound a little bit weird, I've known Tim since I was 11 years old, because he used to teach me, he used to run animation workshops for kids, and he used to do it under the guise of the Norwich Puppet Theatre. So, you know, I knew him for quite some time, and after I think I just left high school, or just before I left high school, I was looking for a job, and it wasn't like a full-time thing, but I went to one of those, like, one of the last times I could go to it, and I was like 15, 16, and yeah, and then I like talked to him a little bit. And then one day when I was like, I used to work at a charity shop, and one day he just like walked in, and I was like, Tim, you know, obviously I spoke to him first, but then I was like, do you have any jobs going? And he was like, yeah, actually, here's my card. And then the rest is history. So, I've been working on and off with Tim for like, oh, 3 years now. It feels crazy to say that. But yeah, he's such a good friend. He's such a wonderful guy, and it's weird to say like, oh, I'm friends with a guy in his mid-40s, but like he's an incredibly sweet and talented man.
Does that mean we're not friends? Because I'm older than
No,
you.
no, 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 no. We are. I'm just saying, like, for the sake of the story, and my phone's going off. This doesn't help. My phone's going off. But yeah, no. I don't know. It's such a. It's a very nice thing. So when I called him up, I was like, because in my head I was like, if I get an actor to do this, it's not going to be the same thing, if that makes sense. I've wanted to include Tim in something for a while. Like I was like, oh, it's because of he has like he has little quirks that you don't get out of actors who are going to take it too seriously.
I think he did a brilliant job, and he was also kind of saying, commenting on the locations as well. So we had a couple of well,
that's what I mean. He's a great teacher. Yeah. Like, yeah.
We had a couple of things where he was walking up against a wall which had got sort of a grid up against it, and saying, well, look, you could use this as a line, and maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. So yeah. I think generally, he was great contributor, and I think what he wore that day was perfect.
Yeah.
It really.
I just said to him, like, dress smart. I was like, do you have a suit? And he was like, I'll try and find one that I can fit in. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, but that was perfect. It was perfect, right? Because you didn't really want a really sharp, suited and booted guy. You kind of wanted somebody
a little bit shabby.
Exactly, and that's no disrespect to Tim at all, because that was absolutely perfect for the piece that we were doing.
Yeah.
And as we went through the various locations, I had an interesting comment. I think it was the other day. Someone said, "Oh, I recognise that alleyway."
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah.
But we kind of went through and filmed it. Now we had a couple of bloopers, didn't we? But we really didn't have that many.
No. It's because that's what I was saying before. Like, even though Tim's not an actor, he's such a sport, and he because he's a passionate filmmaker like I am. Like, even though he hasn't made like a passion project in like ages, he's still like, whenever I say to him, oh, let's make something, he's always like down to make it. He's like, yeah, sure, like whatever. he's like I'll be down to make whatever you want to make that isn't like a a piece for like a client or a company or anything, because like he's always making things for clients or like working for charities, and he's great at that. He's fantastic at it, and but he feels like happier when I'm like, hey, you want to make something that's not that, and he's like super down to do it. And that's why I guess he was so passionate about this one, because it wasn't something that like he like had to do. He wanted to do it. That's the thing about him. He has such a spark of like, let's do it, even though it's not my creative piece. I want to like help you make it, which is a great quality to have. Anyway, bring on.
So look, I mean, I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully this is going to work a little bit. Let's just share this.
We're gonna watch it.
So this is kind of.
Yeah. So, oh my god, you got the bloopers.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got me to walk up and down here probably about 6 or 7 times, and
I only used like a quarter of the shot though, because the majority of it just like didn't work because of the background, I noticed. But I mean, it came out well. But every time you walked up, I was like, I don't know, this feels kind of strange. And then we finally did it, and I was like, that's good.
This is the old art college, though, isn't it? This is the old art college in Norwich. And as I say, I did chuckle about when I see this, because then I start overthinking it, and then I miss my step, and and I kind of think, well, was I supposed to have a flute in my hand? Was I supposed not to have a flute in my hand?
Yeah.
You know, you
But
were
I
kind of
guess that
saying,
adds to the character to it though, because
yeah, yeah.
you know, I mean, with what we're dealing with is like like semi-surrealism, so we don't really have to work under the guise of that the majority of the time, especially when it comes to what you were doing. I mean,
Oh, let's see what this.
yeah,
That
that face.
face is brilliant. It's like, oh my god.
He ended up laughing straight after that because he realised like how over the top he did the face. Yeah.
And this is where we were going to be reported, I think, to the General Post Office about abusing someone's post box. You know.
Yeah. Because I was like, hit something, and we're like, oh, there's a post box, and we'll hit the post box. That's the thing, though. Like when you do, yeah, and then that's where the cut would go, where he hits it. Yeah. So that just looks really awkward and forced, where he just goes.
Yeah. Norwich Market, brilliant.
Yeah.
So these are all the outtakes that we've got here, but the actual video itself, I think when you see these kind of background pieces, really lends itself to the video itself. I'm just going to click onto that.
Well, these sort of things are like a make or break in the edit, and like I didn't want to like tarnish that. I was like trying so hard to like make it flow. I was like, you know, we can't have any like harsh cuts, really. Yeah, here he comes. That's him.
Hey!
And Joe's in the back. We didn't talk about Joe.
We haven't talked about Joe, have we? So
Joe was great.
Joe was great, wasn't he? He really sort of helped us out, and
Joe was our AD, because we didn't need a large crew. We only needed like I don't know, like the 3 or 4 of us, and that made Joe went to film school and he knows a hell of a lot, and he lended his hand when it came to a lot of stuff. I felt really bad though, because I felt like I dragged him, like I was just making him carry stuff, and I felt really bad.
No,
but he was like super happy to be there though, because Joe's always a sport.
I really had a great conversation with Joe, and I was saying, well, I'm thinking, well, should we do this? And he was going, yeah, let's do this, let's do that. So he wasn't a silent partner, certainly.
No, he's down for a lot of things. Like he's fantastic.
And so I think he really brought some good stuff to it. But for me, it was my first music video. I had a fantastic experience, and there's only one problem though, Alex. We've got to top that next time, haven't we? We've got to do better.
Does it next time?
Well, you don't want to work with me anymore. I quite understand.
No. If anything, I feel inferior, because I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of strange when people are like, I want to work with you again. I'm like, no, you don't. I'm like, it's difficult.
Someone said to me today. Someone said to me about 2 or 3 days ago. They said, "Oh, this is a fantastic piece. You've really got a great talent." And I just kind of said, well, I don't really know what to say to that. I just kind of make music. What do I do with that? Where do I put it? And I don't know whether I'm not comfortable with it. I don't know. Look, it's great that people appreciate the work, right? And and I always say thank you, but I sit with it and go, really? Was it that good? What I think I could have done this better. And you kind of self-criticize. But I wonder whether that is a little bit of a journey of an artist. Because I think
oh my god, yeah, no. It's like. It's just going to happen. If you know an artist who's like, yeah, that's perfect. Like, no, you're not. I'm sorry. I can't fathom when someone's like that, because I'm not naming any names, but I've worked with people who are like, yeah, that's fine. I'm like, no. That doesn't make you an artist. That just makes you like, yeah, I just want to get the project done, or like, I just want to get this thing done. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just like, come on.
I also think though that's something that you learn, is when to leave it alone.
Yeah.
You've got to learn to leave it alone, because sometimes it's not going to be perfect, but you can't leave it. And someone said to me the other day, is that there's never a wrong note in a song. It just hasn't met its consequence yet. And I thought about that, and I thought, well, what you mean is that it's there for a reason. Those things are there for a reason, and it will trigger some people and not. So it's and again, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. It's in in the beauty in the listening. So I think there's lots of stuff that we take from it, and it's our own personal journey. It's an expression of ourselves anyway. But yeah, I think we did a great job, and I would encourage anybody go and look at Alex's YouTube. go and look at mine. Two Worlds is out there. It's in support of mental health awareness, and it is there to get people to just take a rest for about 4 minutes and just be involved, be in the moment, forget about anxiety and stress. But even if you don't suffer from any of those things, it's just a damn good bit of cinematography, and it's a good piece of music. I think we like it, we love it, don't we?
We like it, yeah.
So, you know, go and have a look and enjoy it. But I've been speaking to Alex Holmes. He's a filmmaker, and if you are interested in making films and you want to go and talk to him and get some ideas, go and speak to Alex. I'm sure you can find him through YouTube.
Yes, you can.
All right, my friend. Good talking to you again.
Good talking to you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.